ang next question natin, babasahin ko ulit mula kay Kate Adahar. Hi, Kate, from Random Republica. I think you already answered this question, but let me just read it for Kate. What did you experience with foreign production that you wish we could also implement here? Nasagot na ni Inigo yan kanina.
Yeah.
Ang kanyang follow-up question ay, your dad has been interviewed several times and your mom has always been behind the scenes. How is she taking this major milestone in your career? Baka you can give us a glimpse of her role in you as an artist.
She's always been so supportive. I mean, I always say it. My mom was with me the whole time that I was filming in Atlanta, and siguro mababaliw ako kung wala akong kasama in Atlanta kasi in a way being at home was the only thing that made me feel at home away from home.
Right.
And having my mom around me made me feel sane, made me feel okay. There was a lot of times wherein, I felt like I felt like I wasn't good enough for what I was doing. And having my mom around always made me feel like she was so proud of me. Like why should I feel this way if my mom is so proud of me?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what I think about myself. It matters how I make her feel, how I make her proud of what I do. And I mean, seeing her watch, the first episode earlier, it made me feel good. I was actually sobbing. I actually showed them some of the clips that I had on my phone, and I was sobbing just to see them so happy, like with what I've done. And it's been a year. I mean, ang hirap kasing, ang hirap hindi ipakita yung mga ginawa mo for more than a year.
Right.
And to see them finally seeing what I've been doing, it pays off.
Right.
It's worth it.
You saying that, nag-flashback lang sa akin na ang daming twists and turns ng career ni Inigo, no? In the Philippines.
Oh.
Tapos biglang, surprisingly, diniter ka ni Lord dito sa another path na to. Grabe. Amazing. And you're just getting started. You're just getting started. Thank you, Kate, sa question mo. Ang next question natin mula kay Chad Rosete ng Manila Feed. First question niya is, ano ang naging reaction ni Piolo nang malaman na makakasama ka sa Monarch? And how did Piolo support you on this journey sa career mo? Anong advice ang binigay niya sa'yo? So kanina narinig natin the mom side. How about the father side?
It's been tough. I mean, in the best way possible. It's been tough because coming from where I would see my dad all the time in the Philippines, we would have work together, we would hang out together, to where I'm in America all of a sudden again. I mean, I spent my childhood here in America, and my dad was in the Philippines, and I would only see him every time I had an event in school. So it was tough because in a way, it was like going back to where I was when I was in school.
Right.
Parang nalay ulit ako sa tatay ko na I've longed for all my life. But I guess what made me feel good was my dad always encouraged me to go for what I was afraid of doing. Like what I said, I was 2 weeks late for Monarch, and my dad was one of those people who told me, go for it. He would tell me, what's there to lose? Go for it. And he would tell me that's always been my dream, and it's being handed to you. Like, why wouldn't you do it? And I guess there's been a lot of times wherein I would question, am I being a good son that I'm so far away from my dad? Am I being good enough of a son to my dad that I haven't seen him for so long? And I guess what makes me feel good is that my dad never ever made me feel as if I was not giving enough as a son. He always made me feel na, why would you limit yourself? Like, your dream is my dream, your achievements are my achievements, and he never made me feel as if I was never good enough to be his son. And to me, that's more than enough.
Grabe, no? Parang we were just talking about surface level of Monarch, pero ang lalim pala.
It's way deeper, yeah.
Ang lalim pala nung root ng appreciation mo for this gift, for this blessing, that it kind of unraveled the few.
It hits a lot of.
I know.
Yeah.
Ang dami, kanina, ang daming bubog na
Yeah.
narinig ko in the words of Direk Ryan Carlos. Okay. Second question ni Chad is, ngayong napasok mo na both in music and acting career sa international scene, what else do you want to try?
Um, one of my dreams, actually, I shared this to
Broadway?
one of my dreams was I want to do Broadway. Actually, one of my co-stars is actually a Broadway director and a Broadway. No, two of them actually, Faith Prince and Kevin Cahoon, and they've been encouraging me to audition for Broadway, and that's one of my dreams. Talaga na, I mean, when I was in high school, that's all I ever did. I did theater. Um, and hopefully one day na magawa ko yun. One of my dreams, I told Tito Eric, idol ko si Tito Eric, gusto ko rin, kasi the thing about me is whenever I see someone with a talent, it's like now I wanna help that person.
Okay.
Like I wanna give that person everything that I can to make sure that that person shine.
Gets it.
And it makes me feel like sad whenever I'm not able to do that. Siguro, if I'm given the chance in the future to be able to manage people, to be able to cross over, I want to be a manager.
Pero going back to Broadway, what's your anong sa tingin mo?
Broadway.
Like
one of my
Dear
castmates,
Evan Hansen?
one of my castmates was. I mean, what my dream role is to be Jack Kelly in Newsies. That's one of my dream roles. Pippin from Pippin.
Okay.
I played Link Larkin in Hairspray in high school. I want to be able to do that in Broadway. There's a lot of things. Meron pang isa that I'm forgetting. Aladdin. I want to do Aladdin.
Yeah. Why not? Aladdin. Parang feeling ko bagay ka rin sa West Side Story eh.
West Side Story.
Sing and dance, di ba? Parang
Exactly.
pwede rin yun. But wow, interesting. Okay, down to our last two questions. We have here from Angelica Tordesillas of Metro Dot Style. We know the story of how you landed this role by auditioning and that you were even late in submitting it, but thankfully you still got the role anyway. Can you share with us what the content of your audition was? What were the requirements and how did you interpret those?
Actually, there's been a few times that I've been wanting to upload them, but I have to ask clearance from the production, of course.
What is a self-tape, Iñigo?
A self-tape is wherein you're given a scene from the production, whether 2 or 3 scenes from the project that you're gonna do, and they give you a small paragraph. Sometimes they give you the whole script. Sometimes they give you a small paragraph on how you will define your character. And for Ace, there wasn't much actually that was given to me. He said it just says he was adopted. He's a singer who struggles with anxiety.
Okay.
And so one of my auditions actually was originally Ace was supposed to have seizures, and Atakares knows this, but I actually part of my audition and callback was doing a seizure, and so I had to act out a seizure on camera. And so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things.
And masabi ko lang, Iñigo, Liza told me you're not supposed to look at the camera.
No, not at all. With self-tapes, I usually have either a person speaking to me. I sample them in the comment sample. Nangalan seizure. With self-tapes, it's usually not towards the camera because you don't see a lot of movies wherein they're acting looking at the camera. It's usually towards a scene partner or whoever you're saying your line to. And some self-tapes requires you to be talking to 2 or more people. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful that there's this person talking to you. And that showcases, I guess, your ability with listening. It showcases that you're able to change your emotions with what you hear. It's not just about delivering your line. It's about being in the moment and hearing what this person said and how do you feel about what
how you react.
Exactly how you react.
Pero Iñigo, kung ako kunyari, sige, si Iñigo nag-self-tape, gawa rin ako ng sarili kong self-tape. Pero you cannot just randomly send it, right? You need to have an agent in Hollywood.
You have an agent. Yeah. So an agent checks it for you. And in some cases, your agent will tell you to record a different one, to have a different option.
Right.
And actually with Monarch, with the whole process of self tapes, it felt cool. Actually, there was because there's in America, there's a season for auditions.
That's
That's
right.
a cool thing. It's not like in the Philippines where a project is given to you or a project is offered to you. In America, kahit na sikat ka na, you're still asked to audition for certain things. And
Right.
during the audition season, I was helping some of my castmates. I was helping Emma with her self tapes. I was helping Callum with his self tapes, and vice versa. They would help me with my self tapes. So sila yung
Mhm.
naging leader ko for my self tapes, and it was cool to experience that because it makes you appreciate your craft even more. It makes
Right.
you appreciate the process of auditioning.
Right. And you don't know these persons that helping you're helping and helping you will bridge you to the next project, 'di
Yeah,
ba?
exactly.
Parang we don't know eh. Okay, ang ganda
Yeah.
ng question ni Angelica. Thank you very much. Ang kanyang follow-up lang is, what do you consider the most challenging thing about breathing new life into your role? And did you have to familiarize yourself with country music? I think nasagot na to ni
Yeah.
Inigo kanina.
I
Angelica, maraming salamat. Go ahead, Inigo, if you want to add.
usually with every character that I do, with Elenia L and Boyet. Actually, I learned this very late in my career in the Philippines, but I would make a playlist. I would make a playlist of the songs that my character would listen to. And with Ace, obviously, it was very obvious that I had to listen to country music. And before I would go to set, I would listen to that playlist. Ito yung
Okay.
papakinggan ni Ace. Ito yung
Right.
music niya. Ito yung kung sino siya. And
Right.
I guess that helped me a lot with shaping my understanding of who my character was supposed to be and what my character was exposed to. Um, and I guess filming in Atlanta helped a lot. I mean, there were times where I would fly back to LA and talk normal. I would talk, in my normal accent, and then going back to Atlanta, where there are a lot of people that have a southern accent, and I would panic because I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to sound like anymore. But country music is very evident, very like it's people listen to it in Atlanta.
In
Um,
Atlanta? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so it helped me a lot to be immersed in that environment.
Right, right, right. Akala ko pag nag-a-Atlanta ka na, automatic nag-switch on na yung southern accent.
Mahirap, nakakatakot
Mahirap.
siya. Coming from LA and then going back to
Right,
work, I
right.
would get scared because I'm like, I don't know how to sound like Ace all of a sudden.
Wow. And kailangan may continuity. So, medyo challenge
Exactly.
nga, no? Tama, tama. Okay, down to our last question. Ito ay galing kay La Bixie of Bix Buzz. Actually, ang ganda ng question niya, Inigo, no? Your agent in Hollywood, Chris Lee, who is also a Filipino and represents Simu Liu of
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi. Ang sabi, noong na-interview siya, Fox was blown away and they were obsessed with you. What was your reaction?
Siyempre, nung nag-audition ako, hindi ako naniniwala. Kasi sabi ko, pwede niyo naman sabihin sa akin. Kasi I wasn't considering doing it. And ang dami kong beses na parang sinasabi niyo lang sa akin yan kasi gusto niyong gawin ko yung audition. So parang ang dami kong moments na parang, you're just saying that because you want me to feel good about myself.
Right.
And honestly, when I first met my whole Fox family, they were actually very proud. And my first dinner with the whole cast, they made me sing. And I mean, I sang in front of Susan Sarandon, and I was, scared for my life. But they actually knew a little bit of my background. Since I was late for my audition, they knew a little bit of who I was in the Philippines and what I've been doing in the Philippines. And after the self tape, one of the first things that they said was, "How are you good at English? It doesn't make sense." And I had to explain to them that I grew up partly in America and that I moved to the Philippines. I was born in the Philippines, but I moved to the States when I was 8. And in a way, it made me feel good about myself because that's one of the things that I was struggling with in the Philippines. Na sasabihin sa'yo, bulol ka eh, hindi ka naman pala marunong magtagalog ng diretso. That's one of the things I always was insecure about. All of a sudden, it's working for me. All of a sudden, it's something that I'm proud of,
Right.
In the Philippines, my management would always tell me, stop talking in English, just talking Tagalog, or sabihan ka
Because
na
you're in a
bulol.
different territory,
Yeah,
di
all of
ba?
a sudden I'm able to use it for my advantage.
Advantage.
Yeah, so it made
Ay
me feel
nako.
good.
I know life has a funny way of surprising us. Kaya
Yeah.
eto naman, maganda yung tanong din yan, no? Asian actors are getting more screen time these days. What is it like to be an actor of Asian heritage in Hollywood? Siguro you partly answered this kanina, no? But did you feel different?
Oh yeah, big time. Um, I mean, especially with the show. Excuse me. Especially in a show wherein I had very little knowledge of country music. Um, there were many times wherein the background in the show would tell me, you stand out, you're different from all the other cast members. I mean, in my head I'm like, obviously I'm the only Asian in the show. But there were many times wherein I felt na kaya ko ba to, na parang I'm the only one who's not one of them.
Right.
But in a way, andun yung feeling na kaya ko eh. Parang kaya ko makipagsabay, kaya natin makipagsabay. It's not just me who can do it, but if I can do it, someone else from the Philippines can do it better than I can.
Right.
And I'm confident with that. Na parang, with me, I've spent, a good amount of time in America. I've spent a good amount of time in the Philippines. But there's other kids out there who are obviously more talented, more, you know, skilled than I am. And it felt good in a way na ma-introduce na kaya natin with this project. And like I answered this earlier, where we live in a time where it's more accepted, it's more open,
Right.
different. Like with how different you are, it's more in. Kung gaano
Yeah.
ka iba sa kung sino mang kasama mo, mas interested yung mga nanonood.
Kasi nga mediocre is boring.
Exactly.
You really
Gotta be
have to
different
stand out.
nowadays.
I know, you really have to stand
Yeah.
out. And the doors have opened, the windows have opened, so it's the best time to be Filipino and it's the best time to show them what we got. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng ating mga press na nagtanong at nagbahagi ng kanilang questions for Iñigo. Iñigo, I'll give you this opportunity to invite all of our kababayans, kapamilyas in the Philippines na panoorin ang Monarch starting tomorrow. Go ahead.
And syempre, I want to invite all of our kababayans, mga kapamilya natin, lahat ng mga Pinoy. I am very, very proud to share with you guys that Monarch will be airing in the Philippines on I Want TFC. Maraming salamat I Want TFC for making this happen on September 13, 9 a.m. And after this episode, it will be every Thursday, 9 a.m. And in America, it will be actually iba-iba
Every
siya kasi ang daming
Tuesday.
times
Every
actually.
Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday siya.
Ah.
It just depends on whether you're on the East or the West Coast.
That's right.
Just follow Monarch on Fox for more details. But there are actually many ways to view it if you're in different countries. Since this is a show that showcases a lot of foreign actors, marami ring paraan na mapanood to. And this will be on Hulu in America. Once again, I Want TFC, September 13. And maraming salamat po, sir. Thank you so much for making this happen, for this press con. Sa lahat po na nandito ngayong araw na to. Thank you so much for supporting me. This is history. We're gonna make this happen.
I agree. Inigo, baka kasi you're overwhelmed right now, no, with so much emotions, di ba? With so much with everything that's happening around you. But just please know that we appreciate and we thank you for medyo bata ka pa to hear this, but for paving the way. You know, sometimes we use that phrase sa mga legends and sa mga icons, di ba? But you're one of the young generation now paving the way for our Filipino talent to be discovered and be recognized in the world stage. Maraming salamat, Inigo, again.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Monarch on I1 TFC, exclusively premiering tomorrow, September 13, 9 a.m. And in the succeeding weeks po, ay every Thursday at 9 a.m. Inigo, salamat.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat and enjoy the rest of your Monday dyan
Thank you,
sa
thank you, thank you.
Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po. Good night and good afternoon.